Hey yo everybody, welcome back to another guide brought to you by your friend Lestian. Today we are diving into the latest Peacemaker menace to hit the battlefield. Esther, grab your snacks, sit tight and let's jump straight into it. Esther is a Peacemaker melee attacker replica unit mainly focused on dealing high damage. But even when she is a glass cannon unit, she's not that easy to kill. She has extremely high attack and low HP. She can clear her own path to the enemy commander and end the match before your opponent even has a chance to react. But to really understand her, let's break down her abilities. Abilities. Ability 1. An attacking enemy commander, once per turn and before an enemy in-line attacks, deploys her own copy to the same row, then dies. Honestly, one of the best abilities for a glass cannon unit so far. It's like an enhanced Soy and Chloe spawn ability. First of all, let's remark the fact is the highest base attack in Lyssa. There are also units that can reach the same amount of attack on summon or before attack with their abilities, like Sungmi, Soy and Chloe, Natasha, and some others. Replicas also specialize in dealing tons of damage by summoning their copies. Mostly every one of them can finish the match in one turn if conditions met. And Esther is no exception. In fact, with this ability she is way better than the others, since she can finish the match in one turn if she has enough attack to kill the enemy commander with 2 attacks. One thing to keep in mind is that you need to hit the commander successfully to trigger. Means that, for example, if the enemy commander has holographic buff or if Esther is blinded, she will not trigger her copy. Anytime this ability trigger will be considered as a death. This means it will trigger enemies' abilities with that condition, such as Genie's turret damage ability, for example, so be very careful about that. If the enemy commander has a spike buff thanks to Sky, for example, the original Esther will still trigger her copy before the damage of a spike is applied because of the priority system. Her copy, same as her replica friends, will keep the previous buffs and debuffs the original had. Now, for the second part of her skill, means she actually can't get hit by any direct attack, meanwhile she has a spot to place her copy on. No matter how many times the opponent tries to attack her, she will keep triggering her ability. And no, stunning her won't stop it either. For best performance of this ability, you should focus on how much attack she can have, meaning to always seek for this value before you consider reborn her. For example, Reborn 5 level 21 will leave her at almost the same attack value as Reborn 4 level 31, and Reborn 6 level 17 will leave her at the same attack as Reborn 5 level 31. Ability 2. On spawn and before attack deals 375 damage at max level to a random enemy in line 3 times. This ability perfectly fits her first skill, since it will help to reach your opponent commander HP easily. Remember, this ability will trigger 3 times on her spawn, 2 on her summoned line and 1 time in the line she spawns her copy next, if she hits the commander of course. If there is only one enemy in line, at max value of this skill, it will take 2250 damage, more than enough to kill most units. Take note that shields will nullify one of the blows of these skills. Barrier will absorb and take the damage made from this ability, and resistance will reduce the damage made. This ability will get its max value at Reborn 7 sadly, but earlier levels of Reborn 7 still does almost the same damage as Reborn 6 at max level. Values from Reborn 5 and 6 though are not that different from each other, so my recommendation for playing Esther at higher competitive leagues will be to reach at least Reborn 5 with her, but sweet point will be at Reborn 6. Ability 3. On spawn grants force shield to self and ally commander. Another defensive skill for this glass cannon unit, which will help her not to get hit by indirect damage abilities. No matter how many times she respawns on the same turn, it will trigger every time she or her copy spawn. So it's not only a defensive skill for her but for your commander as well. Just remember, Hell Siphon abilities will still surpass shields without breaking them, so be careful about them. Outfit ability. When own force shield expires, gains barrier with durability equal to 50% of own HP. But what is a barrier? It's another defensive buff that will protect you from all damage abilities, including effects that reduce and siphon health. This barrier will have a numeric value that will reduce by the amount of damage absorbed. This ability does not protect your unit from normal attacks or block set target's HP's abilities. Just as we thought we only need to focus on her attack, once you unlock her outfit you will also need to look for more HP for her. But this is one ability you will want to unlock, since it will reduce the options your opponent will have to get rid of her. Combos. Best commanders for her will obviously be the ones that have shields-based abilities like the new commander Paige, Marcella, and Sol. Morgan is not considered as she works best with ranged units. Besides them, Domino Commander will also be a great option since Esther is a replica junior or Dragana for example. From the three mentioned shield-based commanders, best two will be Paige or Marcella. Paige synergizes really well with Esther abilities since every time a shield expires, it will reduce enemy attack and buff yours. Also, if your opponent tries to use Hell Siphon, Health Decrease, or set Hell abilities to counter your Esther, then Paige will regain some health back to her, and on top of that, will add multi-attack to your units. Honestly, by far the best commander to play along with Esther. Marcella, on the other hand, will protect Esther in other way, by keeping her shielded every time their opponent triggers a damage ability. She will also give her attack buffs thanks to her disco brawlers, and Marcella's third ability will deal a lot of damage just by the base attack of Esther, so it's not a bad pick either, especially if you don't have her outfit unlocked yet. Domino, on the other hand, has a more aggressive playstyle as we already know, but it will give massive attack and HP boost to your Esther. This commander will be most recommended if your Esther is still low level, in order to compensate her stats and still be useful and a one-hit killing unit. Dragana, on the other hand, will be a more defensive option since it will grant your Esther more defensive survivability skills that will help her to stay alive against transform and suppression skills, plus also the possibility of giving Esther multi-attack. In terms of units, the most obvious synergy will be the shield-based units, Kitty, Lola, Selena, Hilda, Natasha, and Leda, being Kitty and Lola the best options. Why not Selena? Because she is a melee unit also and her model can spawn everywhere, and can obstruct Esther copy spawns. Same principle will apply to the other ones since they are also melee units, although you can always use them in the second row if you still want to use them. Next best synergy will be attack booster units. There are many of them, so I won't mention them all. You already know them by this point, but best ones besides the already mentioned Kitty will be Cinta, as she will give attack buff to Esther every time Esther kills a unit. And Grace, since she has great synergy with Esther, not only because of she giving Esther attack boost, but because thanks to Esther killing units easily, Grace will stack her multi-attack even faster. Once again, I'm prioritizing ranged units to avoid your units obstructing Esther's spawn points, but you can still use units like Ginny or Charlotte if you want. The other really needed synergy will be health booster units. Since Esther has so low HP, it will not only help her survive longer but also increase the amount of barrier she can get by her outfit ability. Best option in my opinion will be Belle, because her health boost ability will trigger many times per turn. Multi-attack buff units. There are actually only three, so choose the one you prefer the most. Victoria, Faye, and Sarah. Best one will be Victoria, obviously, since she can set multiple multi-attack teams on the field for Esther to keep stacking them every time she spawns. And Victoria will also benefit from Esther spawning to get resistance stacks. Casey has also very good synergy with Esther since Casey's attack boost depends on how many peacekeepers you have. Plus she can help with blinding opponents that will save your Esther in situations when she has no place to escape from an attack. Cleanse defensive units. Esther is very vulnerable to debuffs or status effects, so having cleansed units will help a lot for her survivability. Kira and Scarlet will also benefit from Esther's constant spawns on the field. Counters. Even though Esther has a lot of defensive abilities, she still has many weaknesses. Suppression units or commanders will be the best option to stop her. Transformed units or commanders, except from Shelby, will be also an easy way to get rid of Esther. Health Typhoon units or commanders. Since Esther has very low HP, she will most of the times get destroyed by all the Health Typhoon damage values. Stun units will be especially effective against her, so units like Pixie or Vivian and Nicole, since they trigger their stuns on Esther spawning. Blind units or commanders, since if Esther can land a hit, she will be denied from her main purpose. Attack reduction units. Less or non-attack will practically nullify Esther. Funny thought, Genie will be a great unit against Esther if you have ways to survive against Esther attacks, since her model damage ability will trigger every time Esther dies to create another copy of her. Nona will also be very useful since Esther bases his whole kit of abilities to hit the commander, and Nona denies that, at least for one turn. Sky will be another way to slow down her massive damage to your commander, again at least for one turn. Dora and Bonita can slow down a bit the incoming damage from Esther attacks. Elaine Commander is another option to delay the match, cause you can survive a bit longer thanks to her resistance applied on her. Androids. Best androids for her will be Brooke, since every time Esther spawns will get resistance buff. Amelia, since she has great synergy with shield-based units. And Ursula for free cleans on your units. Relationship stats. At GM League at level 20, we can see Esther will get an extra 358 attack and 68 HP. Some really good extra buffs that fits perfectly her playstyle. Then from level 21 to 30, we can see only her second ability will get the extra buffs. At level 30, she will earn extra 46 damage value, making a total of 421 damage value at ability max level. And remember, it's 3 times every time it triggers. These extra buffs will be very needed, especially for reducing the gap between Reborn's damage values, so level them up steady. Comps. Let's try 3 different comps. Page comp. Esther, Lola, and Kitty as core units, Morana for HP buff, and the last 4 will be depending in what style you play. You can either use attack buff units or counter units that helps against your opponent lineups. In my case, since I am playing in GM League, I need to use some counter and defensive units. So Bonita or Tora for survivability, Nona for healing and counter other Esthers, Irma to kill Esthers and Nona especially, and the last one can be an attack booster or another counter or synergy unit you want. Domino Comp. Esther and Kitty score, Naomi, Rose, Belle, and again the same. 3 more counter units or any other synergy you want. Bonita or Tora, Irma, Nona or Sky. Final thoughts. Honestly, Esther is one of the strongest attackers we have seen so far. If she's level enough, she can literally end the match in one turn, leaving your opponent wondering what just happened. If I were to set her in my tier list right now, she will be side by side to Morana in the God tier, since she is so overpowered. Probably on the meta tier if you don't have her leveled enough. If you like fast matches and big chunks of damage, then this is your unit. A no-brainer option to win easily most of your matches. And that's it for today's video. Esther is absolutely insane right now, and unless something changes, she's looking like one of the strongest carry units in game. Let me know in the comments what team you're running her in and whether you have already managed to pull off those turn 1 commander kills. I know some of you already terrorizing rank with her, and if you enjoyed the guide, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more Lyssa content. It really helps the channel and lets me know what you want more guides like this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. See you next time. Bye!